because we are logging severity 7, right? By default we are logging severity 7. Now what I want to do is, I want anytime there is any log message that comes up, I want it to be sent to a syslog server here. So I'm going to first enable syslog. So I go here, I go to services, and I say syslog, and syslog is on. Perfect, that's fine. Now I'm going to tell this guy that anytime you have log messages, please send it to a syslog server, which is 10.1.2.10. so how do we do that? The command is logging, 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 and I can give an IP address, which is nothing but the log 10. That's it. Logging is enabled, right? Syslog. Now right now any log comes here, it will automatically send that directly to our syslog server, which is nothing but the server PT. Let's see what happens. Let's do what we did earlier. I'm gonna ping again 10.1.1.2. it goes here, this gets these debug messages shown on the screen, and ideally, I don't know if this is happening, ideally it should send that syslog message to a syslog server, which is here. Brilliant. You see this here, it is sent all the messages that it received on its screen, right? So basically overnight you're going home, there's a syslog server sitting here. Morning when you come back to office, you go through a syslog server, you can actually see all the syslog messages. So if there is any server that is down, or somebody calls and says nothing is working, you can immediately come back, look at your syslog and see what changed, what happened, did something happen. And then when you analyze your syslog messages, you will have a picture of what went wrong, and you can go and look into it and troubleshoot. Now if you look at the screen, you see there is a big problem, because all my syslog messages are, what is the timestamp here? January 1st 00000. It doesn't mean anything. I wouldn't be able to know anything if there is no timestamp. Then I don't know when this happened, right? So it becomes very difficult for me to create a picture of what went wrong. So I need to set, this is happening because, like, let's go back here, that's happening because the clock on this device is wrong. So I say show clock, right? Look at the clock is 0:26.9. so basically it's 26 minutes, right? From 0. So whenever a device starts, if the clock there's no mechanism to set the clock, which we'll look into a little while later, but if by default whenever clock starts, it starts at 000 on 1st of March 1993. That's how it is. So basically this router has been on for 26 minutes. That's why the clock currently says 0.26, that is 26 minutes. That's not right. So we need to set the clock. So I can set the clock by, like, I can manually set the clock. So let me set the clock here, right? I'm gonna set the clock here. I'll show how to set the clock. So again, show clock. Here also it is the same thing. So I'm gonna set the clock. The command to set the clock is clock set and then hour, minute and second. So what's the time now? It is, I think, about 2200, right? It's 2205 00, and it says 1 to 31, which is the date. So today is the 14th of March, right? And it says which is the year. It is 2017. 14th of March 2017. Clock set. I hit enter. Now say show clock. The time is right. It is 22:05 on, it's Tuesday, March 14, 2017. Brilliant, right? The clock is set. Now if this device sends a message or a syslog, let us configure this fellow also to do a syslog, or anyway, right, you would be wondering why did I set the clock on this and not on this. That's because I wanted to show an automatic configuration on this device, but anyway, let's debug IP packet for this as well. So IP ICMP, so this will also debug, and I'm gonna say logging, and the server is 10.1.2.10. 10. So this guy also will start logging the thing. The problem is both of them will dib, so on all, so it will debugging is off here. Now ping 10.1.1.1, right? And if you see now, that's why it has not it has not come here. I don't know why. 10.1.2.1 echo reply sent. Okay, I don't know. Let's do this. I don't know, why didn't it didn't we set the logging servers 10.1.2.1. debugging is happening. What's the clock? Show clock. The clock is right. Why is it not sending the right clock? Let's try again. Ping. It's pinging here. The debug messages are shown here. Is it getting? It's still getting, but it's still not updated. Okay, I need to check why. Let's try debug here. Did I enable the service timestamp? Oh, I didn't enable the service. So that's what it is. The service timestamp is not enabled. So let's do this first. IPICMP, right? Again, I'm gonna ping from here and see what happens. Okay, it's still not doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to on this fellow off, on all, that is all possible debugging is off. Now I'm going to say service timestamp log. So I'm going to say service timestamp for log, and I'm going to say date time and millisecond, right? So now if let's say I ping again, the ping would have a debug, so debug is set here.
Update variable here.
And you see that the debug is coming with the correct timestamp. You see the timestamp, it says March 1st. No, what is it? March 1st? Really? No, sorry. My mistake. I haven't, I mean, we are all over the place in this video. I don't know why I'm doing this. Anyway, that's because this, I still haven't set the clock on this. Right, so I haven't set the clock, so that's why it's not there. But again, what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to set the clock using a different word. So now you see that the it is sending the earlier, because this time the services timestamp services was not enabled. That's why with log it was not sending any timestamp, but now it's sending timestamp. That's why you can see that okay, it is March 1st. Earlier it was not sending a timestamp, that's why it was not showing, just showing a default time of 000. Now it started sending timestamp with this, but because we enabled the timestamp services, but the time is wrong on that. That's why it's not sending the correct time. We saw how to manually set the time in this router. Now I will show you how to. Now the problem with manual setting is if you have about 100 devices, it's not.
So if this any router didn't have an update time for syslog, they were not going to send it because there's update time in other devices. So you need to update the time, show clock, set the clock basically to the current update so it can be saved in server.
It's not feasible for you to go and change the time on all those 100 devices, so we need to have an automatic mechanism, and that automatic mechanism is NTP, which is nothing but network time protocol, right? So NTP, you could make one of the devices in your network as an NTP master, right? Again, NTP master is not a concept that don't worry too much about NTP, because NTP is not that depth in your CCNA, but then you could make one of your devices as an NTP master, but I think NTP master command is not supported in packet tracer. So what we would do is I'm going to have another device, right? I'm going to connect another device, and I will use this as an NTP server, right? So I'm going to come here, enable NTP services, NTP and 2218, that's fine. So NTP server is enabled. I will go here, I will give it an IP address of 10.1.3.10, right? 255.255.255.0, 10.1.3.1. like I said earlier, this is not yet configured, so I'm going to go configure that now. Interface G0/1, IP address 10.1.3.1, 255.255.255.0, no shut. Brilliant. Now this is done. This device can happen. So what we do is, I would say NTP server 10.1.3.10, right? 10.
So the command for enable NTP server just 10.1.1, we can send right away. We can send what's the name? Set up the NTP server right away. All the time is gonna be, this one will be time centralized. They're gonna update everything.
1.3.10. If I hit enter, this device will be configured to pick time from NTP. So I will go look at the time here. So it says sys configured. Now if you see all these messages, so look at the clock, show where did it update from. So I think we can do NTP show NTP association, but again NTP association is not part of, like I said, it's definitely not part of CCNA, and that's why packet tracer is not letting us do it. I can do NTP status. NTP status says that clock is synchronized with Stratum 2. Now Stratum 2, again, Stratum is the level of trustworthy of your clock. Normally when you set an NTP server, you tell what Stratum is it. So in this case, by default, our NTP server is a Stratum 1. So this clock learned from a Stratum 1, that's why he's increased 1, so he's a Stratum 2 now. Now if another device learns from a Stratum 2, they become a Stratum 3, right? So Stratum is the trustworthy of the clock. All these information, basically the clock is synchronized, that's why it is. Now let's see what happens if I were to do the same thing. If I were to ping that device, this device sends it gets a debug message, and now it sends a syslog message here, and we see that syslog message has been updated with the correct time. It's March 14th at 22:19 time, and it tells all the things that happen on the switch. It says ICMP debug, right? So this is about NTP and syslog, right? I know we were all over the place.
Okay, so to wrap up, we need to enable a service timestamp on both router. Okay, on both router. And in packet tracer, this one cannot be a master NTP, so we have to do config terminal and one of the server make a NTP, from here, and set the IP address, so anything happen is going to go through there. That's for time, and for syslog, you're going to put down, you just write down login, hosts or servers, and put this IP address for that. Is login is going to be all saved here, and that's it. That's all about syslog and NTP. See you next video.